At this time, I'd like to reconvene the meeting of the Long Beach Community College Board of Trustees for Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017. At this time, if we could all please stand, I'm going to ask Vice President Bynum, in honor of your last meeting, if you could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice President Bynum. Madam Secretary, if you could please call the roll.
Virginia Baxter.
Here.
Jeff Kellogg.
Here.
Vivian Malauulu.
Here.
Doug Otto.
Here.
Sunny Zia.
Here.
And Student Trustee Chavez.
Present.
Thank you. There is nothing to report out of our closed session that took place prior to this meeting. So we'll move on to the first subject is 2.5, approval of the minutes of July 25th, 2017 regular board meeting. If I could have entertain a motion in a second, a motion by Trustee
Second.
Otto, second by Trustee Malauulu.
Oh, sorry.
I'm working on it. If there's no questions on this, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on this item.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Next item, 2.6, introduction of special announcements. Superintendent President?
Yes, sir. We'd like to recognize two retirees this evening. The first is Ronald Lebfrom, who has served our district proudly for 15 years. He started as a web coordinator and became a web developer too, and he retires on September 14th, 2017. Is Ronald here? Well, we want to thank him for his service and congratulate him. The last person that we want to recognize is our own Luann Bynum, who started as an adjunct instructor in ESL and became a dean of economic development, an administrative dean, a vice president, and now is retiring after 20 years of service to our institution as executive vice president for college advancement and economic development. And Mr. Chair, I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Douglas Otto.
Trustee Otto? One of your constituents is retiring?
She is a constituent, but she hasn't been properly brought into the fold yet, so I'm not sure we can allow her to retire. Seriously, Luann, it's been, I've known Luann and I are contemporaries. She went to St. Anthony's and graduated the same year I graduated from Millikan High School. And even though we didn't know each other back then, we have a long, storied friendship that will continue after you leave this job and go on to whatever else it is that you're going to do. I know at the state level how well your work is respected. You have created career technical education here at Long Beach City College, and your reputation is known by everyone, not only in Southern California, but throughout the state. We will miss you. We don't know exactly how we're going to fill your shoes because career technical education and workforce development are very, very important in the city of Long Beach. And so we wish you Godspeed. We hope that you have a successful retirement, or maybe a way station on the way to something new. But I for one, am going to be sorry for you to leave. Thanks.
And I was going to hold my comments to the end of the meeting, but you go ahead and... Those flowers are also whoever the secret admirer is, since there's no name to it. So we're going to say that that is from us, and that is from the secret admirer.
That's right. The figures for the board.
So, President Kellogg, we're going to
Chair,
wait?
yes, we'll wait.
Okay. So that means you can't leave early.
You can say that too. So we'll wait till the end of this meeting, which should not take long. Famous last words. You want to do that now? Oh, that's right, with official photographer. All right. Do you want us by the flowers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Board members? I've been blinded. Reagan, does that conclude your comments at this time?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Very good. Move on to the next item, which is the introduction of the President's Ambassadors and Program Overview. So I'll turn it again to our Superintendent President, who will then make the proper introductions.
Thank you, President Kellogg. I'd like to introduce Dr. Miles Nevin, who is the Director of the President's Office, and he is going to introduce the President's Ambassadors and provide a program overview.
Thank you, Dr. Ramali, and thank you, President Kellogg and members of the board. I'm very happy to be here tonight to introduce our 2017-18 President's Ambassadors. We have 17 this year sitting in front of you. I think it's our largest class ever. And this year is particularly exciting for us because we have spent the last year revising this program, surveying former student leaders and staff who have worked with the program to identify what the desired program learning outcomes should be and also what the student level learning outcomes should be for the program, and to align those outcomes with our leadership development activities and the events that we expect the ambassadors to attend. So we're entering into a new phase in the program that's more intentional and focused on student learning and development and setting an example from the President's Office in terms of how to manage learning outcomes and assessment for our student engagement programs. It's great to be able to work with these students. For me, coming from a student affairs background, it gives me interaction with students in a job that doesn't always include interaction with students. So I just really appreciate this program and the ability to work with these students. With that, I would like to ask the PAs to come up and introduce themselves. And just one quick logistical note, when you are done introducing yourself, just please walk up to the front. And when you're all done, we're gonna take a picture with you folks just standing up so that we don't interrupt your meeting too much. So thanks for letting us be here tonight. And with that, I'm gonna ask you all to come up and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Vanessa de Guzman. I'm the President Ambassador Coordinator for 2017-2018. I'm so glad that you are having us all with you guys. I am a nursing major. I plan to go to UCLA probably in 2 years. So I hope to see you guys this coming year and come and say hi to you at events.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paulo Canteras. I'm a new President Ambassador, and I'm also the current ASB Secretary. And I'm a psychology major, and I plan to transfer in UC San Diego or UCI.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Fett. I'm a public health major here at LBCC. I hope to transfer by fall of 18, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you, and I'm looking forward to the next year, coming year, to meet all of you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Pablo Ochoa, and I'm a business major and hopefully to transfer to USC for business. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joseph Lopez. I'm a biology major, and I hope to transfer to UCLA by next. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angelica Ochoa. I am a pre-med major, and I will be applying to medical school next fall.
Hi, my name is Yesenia Ochoa. My major is Business Administration and Marketing, and I hope one day become CEO of my own company, and I'm going to transfer to either Cal State Long Beach or Cal State Fulton this fall. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adelita Gonzalez, and I'm a accounting major and accounting and criminology major, and I'm hoping to transfer to UCI by next year. Thank you.
She doesn't say homecoming queen or things like that.
Hello, my name is Mariana Miranda. I'm a liberal studies major, and I hope to transfer to Cal.
Hello, my name is Uciel Urias Rodriguez, and I'm an engineering major.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Edwin Martinez. I am a molecular and cell biology major, and I am also the LEC vice president for ASB. And I hopefully plan to transfer to either Irvine or LA.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Anisete. I'm the current PCC vice. I'm a computer science major, and I plan to transfer to UCLA.
Hey, everybody. My name is Beto Rodriguez, and I'm trying to get into USC or UC Berkeley for accounting or finance. So fight on.
Hello, my name is Wendy Mora. I'm an English major, and I hope to transfer to either USC or UCLA by next year.
Maybe join me real quick in congratulating our new class before we take a picture.
We're going to stand up right here. We're just going to stand here. Yeah, they're going to direct it.
Simone, just stand here or closer together?
You'll move us around.
Only because people are critical.
Thank you. We're going to make some comments real quick, so we're not going to call you out. Who else wants to say something? You want to say something? You want to say something? Yeah. Okay, I'll start with the... All right, thank you, Dr. Miles. Members of the board this time. Chair recognizes Trustee Malulu, followed by Trustee Zia.
I would like to welcome you to our board meeting, and I would like to congratulate you, Miles.
Miles, she's talking to
For
your
them.
group.
We're going to start all over.
Yeah.
Bring it back, bring it back.
Vanessa looked like she was in OR and taken off for, there was a birth of a baby or something.
We're going to start over. I would like to welcome you to the meeting, and hopefully this will not be the last meeting that you attend. There are so many of you that we look forward to having a couple of you at some of the meetings so that you can take back information to your classes, to the clubs that you belong to, and also into the community. I would also like to commend you for your willingness to serve in addition to a very rigorous academic program, keeping your grade point average up. And the fact that all of you have transfer goals is most pleasing to me because you took on an extra activity even though you've got a goal that you're working toward. I'd like to encourage you to each one, reach one, go out into your classrooms, on the cafeteria, at all the athletic events, and recruit more members to join you, because the stronger you are, the stronger all of us are. I look forward to marching in parades with you. We've got parade season coming up. I look forward to being at different community events with you. And I hope that you understand the tremendous responsibility that you have representing this very, very special college. So good luck, and also kudos to your advisor, Miles, because he's the one that has to keep you guys, basically hold you guys up. So you guys have to be nice to him, because he's got his own workload too. So thank you, Miles. Great group.
Chair recognizes Trustee Zia, followed by Trustee Baxter.
Thank you, President Kellogg. I too want to welcome you. I love how many of you are here tonight. I think this is the most we've had to date, right, Miles? We have great diversity, representation, different disciplines. I like how some of you are going to go to engineering, my major, and to UCI. And then just echoing what Trustee Malauulu said, it's important to be involved. You are pretty much the cream of the crop of our institution and our students. So we really take pride in the work that our students do, and I'm sure you're going to lead by example for the rest of the student body. So I look forward to hearing about your accomplishments and learning where you end up choosing to go. So please keep us in the loop. We appreciate it.
Trustee Baxter, followed by Trustee Otto.
Okay, congratulations. I just wanted to say, I mentioned it to you, but I want to say it publicly. Make sure you apply for a scholarship, because sometimes people don't think that they need a scholarship, but everybody needs money, no matter what. And so you're going to get a scholarship as being a president's ambassador, but as I'm listening to your majors, there's almost every single one, there's a scholarship for that particular major, especially who's the liberal studies? Are you going to be a teacher? Yeah, now I'm watching you, because we have lots of money for teachers. We don't have enough people apply, so your job is to make sure you have lots of people apply. Well, actually, if you don't, then you'll just get more money, so maybe that could be a motive too. But anyway, congratulations. I'm glad to see some people coming back. That's great. So you're going to have them to be your role models and examples, because the President's Ambassadors Program is a fantastic program. So congratulations.
Trustee Otto, and then I'll have our student trustee.
Great. I too want to extend my congratulations to you for being selected for this program. Studies show that if you are active in the college where you go to school, that your likelihood of success later in life is increased. And so having chosen this path, I think that it says good things about what your futures will be. I too am a little bowled over by the diversity and the intensity of all that you want to accomplish. So congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you over the course of the year. Thanks.
And finally, our student trustee.
So I just want to say, I mean, it's awesome seeing everybody coming out here. It's good seeing students on the audience, so that's another big plus. So I know I'll be working hand in hand with you guys through ASB, and also just seeing you guys out there with us, because I know we have a lot of events planned out. So we're definitely going to need some of those minds in the committees. So it's always good to know that ASB isn't just by itself, and we're kind of like striving for the future. So looking forward to collaborating with you guys, and I mean, it's going to be a great year. Thank you so much.
Finally, congratulations to Dr. Nevin, or I like saying that now. I think you like hearing it too, but also to each and every one of you. Many of you I have known for a while now. You've not just arrived on the campus, as was said, is that you really are the essentially the cream of the crop. You are people that represent this college. You do it in a very positive way, which is great for the college, and we appreciate that, but also for you individually. The future is always bright when you look at individuals like yourself that are what you're moving forward and what you're very diverse and what you're looking at. I heard public health, nursing, obviously, from teaching, everything, and so it's remarkable. So we wish you to make this a very positive year, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the year, because you're always involved. I know some of you at the Grand Prix, from homecoming. I mean, there's so many things we've at events. So. Thank you for representing the college and yourself in a way that is just remarkable. So feel free, if you want to stay around for the rest of the meeting. By the actions, though, we noticed at the beginning you were hitting that door faster than anybody. So, but if you have to leave, we'll see you at another event, and thank you again very much for coming here, and congratulations. Anyone else? I'm sorry. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on with the agenda. If you want to, you want to leave now? All right.
Miles is the first to go.
Thank you all very much.
Bye,
Good
Mike.
luck. Okay, if we end there, it's just on a positive note and nothing else matters, but we will now move on. We'll now move on to, we have the 2.8. This is the reordering of the agenda. And what I'm going to do, I've not heard anyone else wishing to reorder, but the one item that we will, and I'm going to make the announcement right now, is that item 4.1, the staff diversity report, will not be presented tonight. Just so you know, when we get to that item, it will be laid over for a future meeting. So then moving forward, unless there's other items, members, colleagues, if you have, I'll move forward to item 2.9, the ASB President Report. This must be a St. Anthony's night.
Yeah, and I really loved that when I heard that. It was, yeah. I graduated from St. Anthony High School, if you guys didn't know, in 2014, so it's good to see representation out there.
Just a few years after Luann Bynum graduated.
Beginning with my report, I'd just like to say that not only did ASB, but pretty much student life, student leaders, we had our retreat just on Sunday and Monday, and I'd really like to thank Mr. Jeff Kellogg as well as Anne-Marie for coming by and talking to us. Thank you for that. Yeah, we did a whole like ropes course and everything, and it was really scary. We were up there, and we really bonded a lot. There were around 15 plus, I think there were around 20 student leaders who came. We did an overnight at UC Irvine. We did a lot of bonding activities, and yeah, our first ASB cabinet meeting is set for this Thursday at 3 p.m. We are going to be organizing and pretty much seeing when our committee meetings will be held for pretty much everything. And then after that Thursday, all our meetings will be set for Fridays at 12 noon. Following that, as most of you know, we have our week of welcome, or welcome back week, for the first week of school. So outreach ambassadors as well as president ambassadors will be paired with administrators and faculty and hold welcome booths, pretty much information, directing people where they're going to be, telling them they're on the wrong campus, make sure you go back, and all sorts of things. Not only that, but Student Life will also be putting on events throughout Monday through Thursday. Donuts and coffee, meeting the ASB, pretty much everybody, meeting the deans on Monday, as well as welcome back barbecues on both campuses. Other than that, are there any questions?
Comments, members of the board at this time? Chair recognizes Trustee Zia.
What day was the coffee and donuts?
So on Monday, the following Monday, at LAC, there will be coffees and donuts at 8 a.m. and at PCC, it will be at 5:30 p.m.
You said something about a recurring event. That's every Friday.
Every Friday, our ASB meetings at 12 noon.
Okay.
Mm.
So no coffees or donuts at the ASB, right?
There
I
could
got them
be.
mixed up. Nice.
Other members? Hearing none? Thank you.
Mhm.
We start the new year. Great job. And great job this weekend.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Moving on, item 2.10, public comment on agenda items only. We have one speaker, Karen Roberts, wishing to speak on item agenda 4.1 and 5.13. Karen?
Good evening, President Superintendent Romali, Board President Kellogg, and Board of Trustees. I'm Karen Roberts. You've known me as the CHI President, but now I am the CHI Vice President of Part-Time Faculty Union, and our President should be here shortly. I was going to speak on agenda item 4.1, but it's been pulled, so I will just mostly speak on 5.13 and just reference it. So the numbers for our part-time faculty who are going to be starting this fall number to about 700 part-time faculty. What I was interested in was how those numbers were comparing to the number of part-time faculty that I saw in the ethnic diversity report. Because it seemed very high to me, although my data shows that every year we do have a turnover of about 35% part-time faculty. And I know I've spoken about this before, but I do want to say that it's a little bit destabilizing, and the other thing is that it destabilizes the part-time faculty union. If you imagine that we've got 3 unions on campus, if there was a 35% turnover of full-time faculty and classified staff, they would be having to work extra hard to keep up with all of the responsibilities that are required of a union. And so it's a little bit destabilizing for us. So I wanted to just say that I think we need a clarification of the numbers. And I think the board would want a clarification. We want to know if this is in fact true, and that hopefully there can be some action taken on this information. So when that comes around again into the agenda, hopefully I'll be able to address it at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no other public comments at this time on agenda items. We will move to the item 3.1, Revised Board Policy Administrative Regulations, 2006 Participation in Governance. This is just a first reading only. No action is going to be required, but this is the revised board policies. Participation in governance is submitted for first reading. And we list, in accordance with the established practices, revised board policies, administrative regulations have been distributed, discussed, and approved by the President's Leadership Council. Revisions are to update the policy and administrative regulations to include the newly formed Classified Senate as the official body, which represents classified staff in college shared governance. Is there any questions, comments, members of the board at this time? There's no need for a motion or a second, but is there anyone wishing to comment at this time? Hearing none, it is just a first reading, so we can then move on to the next item, which is 5.2. This is the approval of the board goals for 2017-18. I will first ask for a motion and a second.
So
motion
moved.
by Trustee Malula, second by Trustee Zia, on approval of board goals for 2017 and 18. I will read those just so they can see them, the 4. I'll try and read them. The support, the implications, that too. The implementation of the 2016-2022 strategic plan. Number 2, improve board governance. Number 3, support the implementation of the enrollment management plan. Number 4, support strategies that improve the fiscal long-term health of the college and district, and devise strategies to improve access and affordability for all college students. That is the motion and the second on the floor. This is an action item. Members of the board, any comments at this time? Seeing none, we will take a vote on this, but we will begin first with, I'll ask the student trustee for his vote, then I'll refer to the secretary to the rest of the roll. So at this time, student trustee, your vote on this item, please.
Aye.
It's an aye. Madam Secretary, could you call the roll of the rest of the board, please?
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3.3, this is the approval of the 2018 calendar of board meetings. I entertain a motion and a second, please. Motion by Trustee Zia, second by Trustee Baxter. This is the item for our meetings in 2018. I believe they address all the issues we've had in the past, that to make sure there's no conflicts. Are there any, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any questions, comments, members of the board at this time?
I have a
Chair
brief comment.
recognizes Trustee Malauulu.
Thank you. I just would like to once again thank the administration for hosting a meeting on January 23rd at the PCC campus. That is consistent with what we did this year, and I'm happy to see that happening again. I look forward to becoming more visible and present on the PCC campus, especially as a board. So I'm very grateful. The PCC campus is in my district, so I look forward to seeing all of you there on January 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Other members of the board at this time? Hearing none. Student trustee, your vote on this item, please.
Aye.
Aye. Madam Secretary, could you please call the roll for the rest of the board?
I'm sorry, I don't have the motion and the second
I'm
for
sorry.
this item.
On the calendar, it was
Yes.
trustee Zia, followed by trustee Baxter.
Thank you. Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 3.4, resolution ordering the governance member election. This is the pursuant to the provisions of the California Educational Code regarding the election to take place in April 10th, 2018. Could I please entertain a motion and a second on this item?
moved.
Action item. There's a motion by trustee Baxter, second by trustee Otto to approve. Members of the board, discussion at this time?
No, nothing. Just I like being trustee Baxter sometimes.
That's what I
I'm
said.
very vocal.
I'm going quick, everyone.
order.
Questions, comments, members of the board?
I think she can be two trustees at the same time.
True. There's no comments at this time? Student trustee, your vote on advisory, please.
Aye.
Aye. Madam Secretary, your
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. That item carries. Resolution. Item 3.5, resolution candidate statements governing board members election, April 10th, 2018. This is a continuation of the previous item. This is an action item, so I'll ask a motion and a second. Motion by trustee
So
Otto,
moved.
second by trustee Malauulu. There's a motion and a second on the floor. Items, members of the board, discussion on this at this time? Hearing none. Student trustee, your advisory vote.
Aye.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
3.5, resolution carries. Thank you very much. Next item, 3.6, election calendar and candidate handbook and resource guide for April 10th, 2018, governing board members election. This is only an informational item only. Is there any questions people may have on this time? None? Then we will move on from 3.5. We're now to the presentations. It starts with 4.1, the faculty and staff diversity report. As we mentioned, this item is going to be laid over to a later meeting. Superintendent President Romali, there's no other comments need to be made on this, or would you like to make a comment on it, please?
No, sir.
None?
No.
All right, very good. Madam Secretary, do I have to call a roll to lay it over? I don't.
No, that was information. You're going to pull an item?
It's
Is
fine.
that correct?
Okay, so 4.1 has been laid over.
Okay.
All right, very good. Next to the consent calendar, I've been requested to pull items 5.13 and item 5.8 for discussion. Is there any other items at this time need to be pulled by the members?
No, and then I would move adoption of the remaining items on the consent calendar.
There's a motion
Second.
by trustee Otto, second by trustee Zia to approve the rest of the consent calendar. Items of discussion on the remaining.
I would like to add a comment.
Trustee Malauulu?
I would just like to add a comment to thank Vice President Gable, Vice President Bynum, and Vice President Delgado, who is ill tonight, for just clarifying items on the consent agenda and reworking some of the codes and making it a little more clear and easier to see. That in itself has minimized some of my questions and eliminated some extra discussion. So I appreciate the work that you guys have done to not only add the transparency, but just make them more user-friendly. So when you look at them, it just makes a little more sense to someone who doesn't have an accounting background. So thank you very much.
President Kellogg?
Trustee Baxter?
Yes, I want to applaud Vice President Gable for having so many contracts done in such an efficient and timely manner. And your staff, sorry.
Staff.
Yeah.
Thank you. There is a proper motion and a second for the consent calendar with the exception of items 5.13 and 5.8. No other discussion at this time. Student trustee.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. Once again, I'm going to thank Vice President Gable. Yesterday I went, it was last minute, and I just had some questions like on item 5.6 and 5.10, and I said, what is this, what is that? what do the parentheses mean when it says decrease, but it's like budget increase? What is that? So she was able to clarify really quick while she was making copies. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
That's sweet.
I'm going to thank Trustee Gable because everyone else is, so. Good job.
Trustee Gable.
So, Madam Secretary, the roll, please. There's no student
Virginia
trustee
Baxter.
vote on this one.
Jeff Kellogg.
Nope, I'm sorry. Go ahead, start again, please.
I thought you were starting with the student.
No, the student trustee does not vote on these items.
Oh, okay.
They're monetary
Virginia
issues.
Baxter says aye.
Excuse me, why is he not voting?
Because
Only with the exception of the personnel items.
Yeah, I don't have it down, that's why. Should I ask him to do the student trustee advisory on the consent
Please.
calendar item?
With the exception of 513 and
Which is pulled on this.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
14, because they're personnel items.
If you notice, we're trying to let the student trustee give us an advisory vote before we cast our votes. So, student trustee, your
Aye.
vote on the consent. Thank you. Madam Secretary.
I don't know where I'm doing. Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto. And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 5.13. This item, what I'm going to ask for is because it's a large item, we're going to move, let's begin with, and please follow me on this one. We're going to move 5.3 to the non-consent for discussion, and then I'll make a recommendation on that at this time. So if I could just ask if we could do that to just move 5.3 to the non-consent for discussion. We'll address it after we have 5.8.
Excuse me, is that 5.3 or 5.13?
5.13, I'm sorry.
To move it to where?
It's already been moved to, for action on discussion.
Yeah, I'm going to move it. Can I do it after we deal with 5.8, or can I?
Yes, you can.
All right, then we will, trying to make a little bit of sense of this one as we move forward, and everyone will understand what we're doing, hopefully. So that one's been moved to non-consent for discussion, but let's deal with item 5.8, which has been pulled. 5.8 is the item Trustee Zia has requested to be pulled, is contracts award. So at first, if I could entertain, I think I know what you want to do on this one. So why don't I just recognize Trustee Zia on item 5.8, and then I'll ask for a motion, please, from Trustee Zia.
So we don't need a motion on the floor for discussion?
For action item, and I don't think that's where you want to go.
Well, I had questions on the specifics of the
Why don't
item.
we then Trustee Zia, can you make the motion on to approve item 5.8, and we'll go from there, at least for discussion purposes only.
Sure. I'll make the motion.
Motion, Trustee Zia, on item 5.8, second by Trustee Baxter. On 5.8, discussion. Chair recognizes Trustee Zia.
Thank you, President Kellogg. My question in this contract, Something Massive LLC, I understand the term is specified, but the rate is the only item that is specified on the monetary aspect of the contract. And I appreciate staff putting the background on the competitive process that was followed, but I'd like to have this item be more, further thought out as far as the not to exceed value of the contract. I'm not suggesting that it wasn't thought out, but perhaps this item can come back to us for deliberation and action of a not to exceed amount for the full contract once the scope is further defined. And that was really what my question was on that, because I just don't want to be approving an hourly rate. I'd like to approve the actual contract amount.
Trustee Kellogg, but I think.
Chair recognizes Trustee Otto, followed by Trustee Baxter.
I think it's a point well taken. I'm concerned that if we don't approve this tonight, it might make it so that we can't move forward with this kind of work. So I'm going to suggest, if it's a good suggestion, and I think the staff can let me know, that we come up with a number, a not to exceed number tonight that could certainly be amended in the future, and that wouldn't slow us down in terms of implementing this. Because I don't think anybody's against the idea of this. It's just that it needs a number. Could we amend it?
President Kellogg.
I'll recognize Trustee Baxter, then I'll ask for Vice President Gable.
Yeah, I agree with Vice President Zia, and I love the idea of you asking for something tonight to get it going through. So thank you, Trustee Otto, for being so forward-looking.
So Vice President Gable, do you have a suggestion?
Due to the nature of what we were trying to get going and the fact that this is for strong workforce, as well as our adult education students, and then the career education technology, I think as part of the responses to the RFB, there were certain things that potentially could be done. So I would recommend, if the board is comfortable with it, with a not to exceed amount of $150,000 that should get us through. And then, as I said, that is a not to exceed amount. What we will be doing is getting the specificity, and we'll be entering into purchase orders for the specific pieces of work that we want them to do. So it's something that we will be working with the company to create a clear scope of work, issuing a purchase order for that clear scope of work that would then tie into this. So I think the $150,000 would cover multiple things. You know, we would be able to get some advertising material, marketing material developed and out on the street relatively quickly, as well as doing some research of the target populations and looking at how best to market to those target populations for strong workforce, CTE, and adult education. So that would be a quick recommendation, and I'm looking to Executive Vice President Bynum to see if she would agree with that amount, because she has been more intimately involved in this contract than I have.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Vice President Gable. I think that would be a good amount that would allow us also to get started on the various pieces and be able to identify them based on the grant allocations that are going to be paying for this.
Chair recognizes Trustee Zia, followed by Trustee Otto.
Well, I have a fundamental disagreement with your approach. I think it's absolutely unacceptable for you to make it up on the fly, 10,000, 150,000. This item, let's not forget, it's on consent agenda. It should have been further thought out. You should have come up with the scope, the amount. So it has no business being put on the agenda to begin with, and I would not vote for it as it stands this way, and making the not to exceed value on the fly. I'd like you guys to go back and further deliberate, further come up with a scope, define it, and then bring it back to us. I wouldn't approve it this way, and I don't think it's transparent and acceptable for us to do business this way and just approve a rate and then on the fly make a determination for the not to exceed value without publishing it, having an opportunity for the public to opine beforehand. That's my 2 cents, and I would make a motion to lay it over till the next board meeting.
Trustee Otto?
Actually, as a point of order, I think you need to ask for a second for that motion.
I was going to wait until you spoke, because I think you were called to make comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll come back and ask for there's a motion.
Oh, okay.
There is a motion on the floor, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Trustee Otto, followed by Trustee Malulu.
Yeah, and what I was going to say was that I actually think I heard a lot of what it is that's going to be done, and also some urgency to starting this process because of, I know what's going on in Sacramento about the strong workforce recommendations and whatnot. And what I was going to suggest is that we approve it with the $150,000 lid. However, that we bring this back to the board at the very next meeting and have a further report with more detail about what it is that we're doing here. And that way we could get started and on this work, because I think it would be a shame to given the exigencies of this, to not get moving on this. And I don't think that the public would have any trouble with allowing us to get moving on this. But I agree with Trustee Zia that what we ought to do is know more about this as soon as possible, and I think that's the next meeting.
Trustee Malulu?
I agree with the discussion that the other
trustees have brought up, I think it's improper that we vote on something that doesn't have a fixed amount, even though I understand why it was presented that way. The one question that I'm going to return to from several meetings ago, and there might not be an answer just yet, but whenever we approve contracts or RFPs, RFQs for certain amount, and we, dovetail them with, not to exceed or whatever, we still don't have a way of seeing, say for example, we approve it for 150,000, but it actually only comes out to 95,000. That remaining 55,000 that stays in the budget, I've asked about this before. What happens to money that is credited to us? Or where do we see, we see budgets monthly of money going out, but we don't get to see budgets of the money coming in, and we don't see the amounts that aren't used. So if we approve something with a not to exceed on it, what happens to that $55,000 that's not used? Or I recall a few months ago, I can't remember what it was for, but we approved something for, it was a large amount. It was maybe $200,000 or $300,000, and I'd like to know whatever happened with that. Did we actually spend 200? What happened to that other 100,000? Does it go back into the pot? So we do need to work on that as an institution, as a district. We do need to fix those gray areas so that there's never any ambiguity and nobody's ever wondering what happened to the excess money that we approved. I think that was something that we had talked about before, money coming in or some kind of deposit ledger or unused monies. Thank you.
Vice President Gable, did you have some, there was a lot of discussion here about, it sounds as if there was a question about allowing this thing to move forward, but there's a question about the limit, and then Trustee Malauulu just asked about what happens when the money that we've allocated for, but it is not all spent. What does happen from an accounting standpoint with those dollars?
So anytime that we enter into a contract or even issue a purchase order, we have to make sure that there are available funds, meaning that there is a budget in that specific line item. The way to look at whether or not we've spent the entire budget is the quarterly reports that we present to the board, where it shows the budget versus the actual expenditures, and then any variance between the budget and the actual expenditures. I think what Trustee Malauulu is asking for is something much more detailed, and it sounds like it's a report that we don't have. And if I'm understanding you correctly, what you're asking for is how much was the purchase order or contract issued for, how much was spent, and was there anything left on the purchase order or on the contract. That is something that we could go back and track. It would be very tedious. Like I said, it is not a report, it's not a standard report that comes out of our financial system. So it would have to be a customized report. And at this point in time, I don't even know how long it would take. I imagine it could be quite extensive because some of our contracts cross fiscal years, and so then you're trying to track it that way. So I think that would need to be something I would look to President Romali to see if that's a report that she wants us to spend staff time on trying to create to report on. But that's a question for President Romali.
President Kellogg.
Chair recognizes Trustee Zia. Can I just, because now I'm hearing three things. We have a motion which is do the action. Second I heard is to lay the item over in its entirety. The third item I heard was to move the item forward with a financial cap on it and report back to the board at our next meeting on what that exact amount would be. That's what I believe I heard properly. Chair recognizes Trustee Zia.
Yes, I'd like to make a substitute motion to lay over the item till the September 12th meeting.
And I second.
All right, there's a motion and a second on the floor to just simply lay the item over to our next meeting. Motion by Trustee Zia, second by Trustee Baxter. Discussion on the substitute motion at this time.
And just to be clear, for the item to come back, I'm requesting that it comes back with a not to exceed value that is has a justification of why we're asking for that not to exceed value. And agendize.
All right, discussion, members of the board this time?
Yeah.
On this item, Chair recognizes Trustee Otto.
Yeah, I just ask a question of our vice presidents, and it would the substitute motion prejudice our ability to go forward on these items now for, in essence, another month, or is there any downside to the doing of that?
Well, I guess the only downside would be we can't start working with the company until after the board approves the contract. So we'll be delaying any work until after September 12th.
And would you be starting it as a matter of course if this was not laid over?
Yes, I would say that we would start if you approve tonight. One of the issues for us also is trying to pump up and increase our enrollments in our career technical education program.
And the monies that would be spent for this would be part of what an enrollment management strategy, which is time sensitive because we're starting school very soon?
Well, marketing and promoting our programs is enrollment strategy, trying to be very targeted with career technical education, adult basic education, which we just got that grant last year, as well as strong workforce. We just got that grant last year. There's a lot of funds that have come in to be able to expend in those areas, and we need enrollments in those areas, and so we would have to wait a month or so to be able to start to work with the company.
It's 20 days, just to be clear.
Having heard those answers, here's what I think. And I'm not going to support the substitute motion, and the reason for that is because I believe it elevates form over substance, that if you want to lower the amount and say it's $50,000 or $25,000 or something, I think that staff, and certainly I agree with you that we need a dollar amount on contracts that we're going to enter into, but it's like we're doing this to make a point when what we could do is move forward, and still the point's well taken, and we can do progress, but it's almost like punishing us for doing that. And I don't think there's any reason to do that. So, I mean, if there's some way we could accommodate and keep this moving, because I know that enrollment management is a very time-sensitive program. And if we're not going to be able to start to develop materials that would be consistent with our enrollment management strategies, then I think that we're penny wise and pound foolish. And so if there's something that we could arrive to keep this going, and I think it would be to our benefit. Is it, Vice President Bynum?
I think we should hear from our president, Superintendent.
Go ahead.
I just had perhaps you want to amend it slightly to say that allowable expenditures at this time for material development, so that we could get the ball rolling on just the development of the materials, so that we don't lose any time on the material development. It's a way to maybe meet halfway as a possible solution. I did want to answer Trustee Malauulu's question on what happens to that excess money. Typically, when you have a not-to-exceed contract, 9.9 times out of 10, you do spend the entire contract. It's very, very rare where you don't. But on those very rare occasions where you do not spend the whole contract, the money falls out and then falls back into the budget line and leaves it available to spend on other items of a similar nature. If you then do not spend that money, then it falls to your fund balance. We can certainly look into reporting on that, but it's typically a fairly rare occurrence when that happens. Yeah.
Vice President Bynum, did you have a comment?
I was just going to mention that there is a partial breakdown of scope based on what we asked the vendors to respond to. The marketing plan developed would be around 80 or 85,000. If we were to do the entire contract and put a cap on it, it would be approximately 150,000. And it includes a whole series of pieces that they look at. I can call them out if you would like, but this could be broken up into two areas.
It's unacceptable.
Chair recognizes Trustee Malulu.
Just really quickly, thank you, President Romali. The not to exceed contracts was not really why I brought up the question several months ago. That's just why I mentioned it right now. The questions that I had several months ago is several times budget transfers, the warrants, there were different budget items who, you know, we never saw money coming in. So I asked to see a budget of money coming in, either whether it's coming from the governor's office or whether it's coming from grants, which I think is what prompted the question. So I understand that not to exceed it would be rare to not get to that point, but there are budgets that all we see is money going out. And I'd love to have some kind of, you know, ledger to show where we're getting how much money and how it's being dispersed. But regarding the discussion that's on the table right now, I actually appreciate Trustee Otto's point of view with this regard. It hadn't occurred to me that it might slow down. I understand that it's less than a month. It's not, you know, 20 days or however many days it is. But I'm willing to compromise if there is something we can do to agree that we do need a policy, some sort of formality to next time place items on the agenda that have a fixed amount. I don't think we should ever vote on anything that doesn't have a fixed amount, and I think we agree to that. But in light of something being halted or something not being started, like enrollment management, which I think is critical right now, I see your point of view, and I think that I'm willing to compromise because that is an important program. It's the beginning of the school year. We definitely need something like this in place. So if us, you know, needling or belaboring the point to just get the point across that we need it, we agree that we need it. And I personally don't like the process. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right to vote on something that's not specified. But I think everybody else here agrees with that too, and we know that moving forward, and we'll fix it. But the enrollment management is a priority. You know, I agree with you.
Well,
I'll come back then. I'm sorry. Trustee Malulu, you done?
Yes.
Chair will recognize the maker of the substitute motion, Trustee Zia.
Well, first of all, I think it's absolutely unfortunate to make the argument that everything, it's essentially it's a natural inference to make that everything's going to fall apart if we don't approve this, I don't know, whatever amount we're approving here, $150 an hour contract in enrollment management. Don't we have staff? We have staff that are responsible for enrollment management. This is essentially augmenting that. And I take great concern that this is going to be precedent setting. I'm not trying to make an example out of this, but frankly, this item was half-baked. Staff had no business putting it on the agenda to begin with, and also consent agenda. By the time things reach consent, it's a presumption that it's been fully vetted, and that's what I take exception to. I don't think this is I haven't heard from staff that this is an absolute imminent contract, which you guys are, you know, I'm not trying to be harsh or difficult. You're making up not to exceed values on the fly, and that's unacceptable. I take an exception to that, and I think the public should know. I mean, if this is how we do business, then we have a fundamental problem beyond this contract. So I would absolutely support the substitute motion, and I implore my colleagues to do the same so that we do this right. For the sake of transparency, the public have the right to know, and the fact that we have to have our staff further deliberate and bring something back that is fully baked. Call for the vote.
Other members of the board at this time on the substitute motion? Trustee Otto?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I heard the staff say that if we pass this with whatever limitation on it, that work would get done on issues like enrollment management between now and the next board meeting, and that was important work to be done now. And I guess I just reiterate that under those circumstances, and you know, I'll stipulate that we should never have another contract brought back to us without a ceiling. We can do that. So I can see no other reason to not pass this under those circumstances, other than we do it for punitive reasons. You know, let's move forward. You want to make it $20,000? I don't. I just want to.
That's the problem.
I want to move this forward because I think these things are so important, and I don't think it will teach anybody a lesson if we are, except it will hurt the students if we don't move forward on this now.
Call for the vote.
There's a substitute motion on the floor. There's a call for the vote. I would just say that I would agree with, I think there was a middle ground that we can find. If this is defeated, the substitute motion, we then roll back to the action item, which was to move it forward, which I think is not what everyone intended is in entirety. So I'm not 100% sure, but I will work through it. If a substitute motion is defeated, then you roll immediately into the
Original motion.
The original motion, which no one seems to be in favor of. Then we'll have to entertain a motion to amend it that time.
Well, maybe we should take a vote.
Okay.
President Kellogg, could you restate the motion, the substitute motion?
I'll let Trustee Zia, the maker of the substitute motion, do that for you.
The motion was to lay over the item and have it come back at the September 12th meeting with a not to exceed value that is fully thought out.
All right, then no other discussion at this time. There's a motion and a second of a substitute motion on the floor. Madam Secretary, do you have that?
I have that.
All right, can you please call the roll?
Would you like
And there's
to-
no student trustee vote on this one.
And why not?
The substitute motion, the one that Trustee Zia, that will
Lay over the item
Lay
to
the item over.
September 12th to come back with a not to exceed value.
He can cast his advisory vote on this item.
Student trustee, would you like to cast an advisory vote on this one?
It wasn't listed separately because it was in the consent, so it's been pulled out, so you don't have a separate note on that one. That's why.
Student trustee? Yay, nay, or abstain?
Aye.
Thank you.
Virginia
Madam
Bass.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg,
Nay.
Vivian Malauulu,
We'll survive no matter what you do.
I'm going to vote aye on this.
Very fine.
It's tough. Aye.
Doug Otto,
Nay.
and Sunny Zia.
Aye.
The motion to lay the item over carries, so we will deal with this item at our next board meeting. The next item is item 5.13. As we mentioned, this was to do move the item from non-consent. I will explain briefly. 5.13 is a very large document, so what I'm going to ask is that we, and I will then ask Superintendent President for some comments on this as well. After I explain, then I'll ask for the motion, and then we'll move forward. 5.13, the item itself. Hold with me one moment, please. This is on the academic personnel. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve, ratify the addendum personnel actions as submitted. In this document, there is an item on the stipends regarding with Vice President Gable and Vice President Bynum. There is no reflection on them. I will tell you that this item came after we had done the prep for this meeting to send before the entire board. This item was put on after that meeting. And there were some questions that came up because once the item becomes an agendized item, you now are following Brown Act. And so we either deal with it here publicly or we can lay the item over. So at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to lay the item over these only specific to this item only. Superintendent President, did you have some comments as well on this? And then I'll entertain a motion.
Yes,
and
we
then
want to
some
thank
discussion.
Executive Vice President Bynum and Vice President Gable, who've done a tremendous job stepping in and pulling everything together in academic affairs and student services for the new year. We absolutely could not have done it without them. We're talking nights to midnight and missing dinners with your family, and for that we thank you because we know we're going to have a great opening at College Day because of that. But a technicality in that we did not have it on the meeting beforehand occurred, and we want to always make sure that we're not surprising anyone. And so we will lay it over till the next board meeting, so everyone will have a chance to discuss it before it comes forward.
So if I could ask at this time, that one specific item, item 5.13, be laid over to our next meeting. If I can entertain a motion for that, please. And I'll actually hear from the motion this time. Motion by trustee Otto, second by trustee Baxter. Discussion on this item at this time to lay the item over specifically. Hearing none.
Excuse me, you're approving the item with the exception of the two VPs.
Correct.
That's the way it'll be
The rest
written.
of
Thank
the
you.
20-odd pages, yes.
I have,
Chair recognizes trustee Zia.
after further deliberation, and I've said this before, I think it's important for us to vote for this tonight instead of laying it over. I think they deserve the stipend, and that's not to say that laying over the item is indicative that they're not deserving, but I think it's something that is doesn't warrant any more discussion. From my account, I understand that others may want to have further discussion, but I don't think we should lay it over.
And again, as the superintendent has stated, no one ever, the question is not over whether they're deserving of the stipends or not. It was a question over the policy procedures in regarding with this. Other questions, comments, members of the board at this time? Hearing none, there is a motion and a second to lay this particular item over. Student trustee, you have the opportunity to do a advisory vote. How do you like it now?
No, excuse me, no vote on personnel items.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
sorry.
You were ready to go, though. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on this item.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Nay.
Thank you. Next, we are now through the consent calendar. And we're now to Human Resources, item 6.1, employment contracts. This is a action item. This is to approve the employment contract for, is this one still good? This is one for Luisito Amador, Director, Student Equity, as submitted. The employee contract, which, ladies and gentlemen, I have to read this publicly. Contract provides for a term of employment from September 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2019. The contract provides for a monthly compensation of $7,831, health and welfare benefits, and life insurance. Could I entertain a motion and a second to approve? Motion by trustee Zia, second by trustee Malauulu. On this item, discussion, members of the board at this time? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 6.1 carries. Item 6.2, the recommendation they approve the employment contract and stipend for Kathleen J. Scott, Acting Vice President, Academic Affairs, as submitted. The employment contract provides for a term of employment from September 5th, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. The contract provides for a monthly compensation of $15,851, health and welfare benefits, and life insurance. Could I entertain a motion and a second on this one? Trusted by trustee Malauulu, second by trustee Baxter on item 6.2. Discussion, members of the board at this time? Hearing none. I'm sorry. Chair recognizes trustee Zia.
I just want to welcome our acting vice president. I know, well, but for the record, Kathleen Scott, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, the roll, please, to make
Virginia
it official.
Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Catherine Scott is right here. If you please stand. Welcome to the Long Beach City College family, officially. Next item, 6.3, another employment contract. This is an action item that the Board of Trustees approved the employment contract and stipend for Kim Marie McGinnis, Interim Vice President, Student Support Services, as submitted. It is stapled, is what it is. Employment contract provides for a term of employment from September 25th, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. The contract provides for a monthly compensation of $15,851, health and welfare benefits, and life insurance. Could I entertain a motion and second on this item? Motion by trustee Zia, second by trustee Baxter. Questions, comments, members of the board at this time?
Yeah.
Chair recognizes trustee Otto.
Yeah, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I would say that I've investigated this, and we are starting both of these positions at a second step, not a first step. It's about $190,000, $191,000, which I have been told in my investigation was necessary to get the quality of people that we have gotten, and we are delighted with both of these selections. Thanks.
Thank you. Other members of the board at this time? Hearing none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. Administrative Services, item 7.1. This will be an action item that the board approves the 2016-17 fourth quarter financial status report by the Long Beach Community College District and authorizes transmittal of the report to the California Community College Chancellor's Office as submitted. This is all previous information. It is just a process we do all the time with these. So with that, could I entertain a motion in a second?
So
motion
moved.
by Trustee Malauulu, second by Trustee Otto. You got one. Questions, comments, members of the board at this time? Hearing none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on item 7.1.
Would you like a student trustee advisory vote, please?
Yes, he would. Thank you. Student trustee, your advisory vote, please.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Madam Secretary, the roll.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. That item carries as well. We're now to reports, and we'd like to welcome the Academic Senate President. This does not look like Karen Kane. So welcome, your first report. And go ahead and introduce yourself, too, that everyone knows, including your discipline. Is that why the flowers are here?
I was very happy. I thought they were for me. But thank you, President Kellogg. I am the new Academic Senate President for 2 years, elected by the faculty body. Jorge Ochoa, I am the faculty for horticulture teaching at the PCC campus, and I will be representing the faculty in these meetings. And there's no report. The curriculum committee will reconvene next Wednesday, and the Academic Senate will have their first meeting next Friday. So hopefully I will be bringing reports after that. Thank you.
Fantastic. And welcome. And
President-
thank you for serving, too.
President Kellogg, may I
Chair
bring
recognizes
something?
Trustee Baxter.
Yeah, thank you. Jorge, welcome to our meetings. I wanted to bring up something that used to occur all the time, that the Academic Senate would invite the board to a dinner or a get-together. And I don't remember that we've had that recently. Have we? And I've forgotten, or I was out of town?
In his home?
Well, I don't know. I've never been to Jorge.
The last get together we had it at George's Greek. That was several years ago. But if Dr. Baxter would like, we can work on that.
Well, I just thought was, it was before I was elected to the board, so I don't, unless, like I said, I've forgotten. But I just think that's a good PR thing for the Academic Senate and the board to get along. If my colleagues agree with me.
I will agree.
Okay.
So we just invited ourselves to a dinner that you're hosting. So.
Oh, you'll have a report for next month.
Thank you. Next item, Superintendent President, your report, please.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to congratulate Professor Jorge Ochoa on his ascension to our Academic Senate President. He is a fabulous, fabulous leader of the most talented faculty that I have ever worked with, and I have full confidence he's going to do an amazing job. He's already coming out of the gate fast with wonderful, wonderful ideas. You're also going to be very excited. We continue, of course, to struggle with enrollment. However, the team has pulled together with all hands on deck strategy to handle enrollment, and this is something we are going to make regular as a part of our enrollment management plan. But I want to commend the entire team led by Dr. Bynum and Vice President Gable and Miles Nevin and Robin Darkangelo, who pulled everybody together to make all this happen. We have started 3 days of phone banking, and we've put together a sort of a on-the-fly phone bank. We've got managers from our LEAD Academy who volunteered to phone bank, and what we are doing is we are targeting students who have applied but not enrolled, tested but not enrolled, students who have an ed plan but not enrolled. We've even contacted, with Liz McCann's help, our foundation board and their members to try and find who might be interested in an activity or an enrichment course, and we've offered them VIP service through the president's office should they decide to come aboard and take a course. We've targeted 60,000 students who are not taking full loads to add one more course. And we've also reached out to our CTE skills builders. Under Robin Darkangelo's leadership, we had what was called a Viking Express, which was a one-stop. The counselors also gave tremendous support with that. It was so popular that we've added CPR, Counseling Plus Registration, event this Saturday. So please come out and see our counselors working with students who have assessed and gone through orientation but haven't enrolled.
What time is that, President Romali?
Have a time on that. Do I see? 8 to noon.
Okay.
8 to noon. We also, through Vice President Gable's leadership, thought outside the box and extended registration from Sunday morning to Sunday night. That's another day that we can grab those students to our fabulous institution. We also extended the deadline for student drop due to non-payment. Previously, it had been 2 weeks before the start of the semester. We are now extending it until census reporting, approximately 2 weeks after. We will collect data on that, of course, to make sure that was an excellent decision, but having done that before, I know that she made an excellent decision there. So lots happening to drive enrollment. So we will see the results of that soon, and I just wanted to thank everyone. Literally, they have come from all walks of the institution to help us get the word out to students. We've had a very successful first town hall where we got a lot of important feedback on how we execute our enrollment management plan and strategic plan. We've also had a first smash hit classified luncheon that demanded a second classified luncheon, which was also a smash hit, where the classified units led by Corinne Magdaleno and Annie Engel provided tremendous input in how we can accomplish our goals. We had a fabulous new faculty orientation reception, and I am incredibly impressed by our freshman professors. They will serve us well. We also, Dr. Nevin and I visited Sacramento yesterday to spread the good word about LBCC to folks, our senators, our assembly members, and folks in Department of Finance, and received a very warm welcome and interest in the promise and much of what we do here. We have great support in Sacramento. I want to welcome everyone to College Day, where our faculty come back starting at 8 o'clock this Friday, and it's going to be a very cheerful event with dancing and surprises and a real kickoff where we've been and where we're going this year. There's going to be a very high energy. And to also invite everyone on September 12th to the Long Beach Community Job Fair, and that's going to be in Veterans Stadium if that interests you. Thank you very much, President Kellogg.
Thank you very much. Good way to start the year. Student trustee.
So for my report, so between the last meeting and this meeting, I attended so many meetings, and it's not even school starting yet. But next week we start school, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be taking a buttload of 19 units, so I'm looking forward to that. So throughout between the time of last month's meeting and this month's meeting, I had the pleasure to attend the student communication plan, where I, along with Javier, the RESB president, and Paolo, the ASB secretary, were able to give our input on information and how do we get that information from students, from faculty to students, whether that's through email, text, and phone. We had every single office present there, from like admission records, athletics, financial aid, etc. And when is it too much information, too many emails we're receiving, too many text messages we're receiving? So yeah, I attended that. That went pretty well. Also, I had my first ever conference/convention, and it was the California Community College League of Trustees. And it was right here in the Hilton, so that was awesome hosting it in a way because it was in my district in Long Beach. So I had all the other student trustees from California come and meet here. So it was a three-night convention, 2-day convention kind of thing, because Friday was just like a little welcome. So I had the pleasure of meeting everyone, and we kind of discussed all the issues that community college students are going through, and how can we improve our enrollment. And because it seems like it's just continually going down now. And it's not just Long Beach struggling, it's a lot of other community colleges around the area struggling. So some of the speakers were the president of Student Senate of California Community College, or SSCCC, President Courtney Cooper, who talked specifically about how the representation fee works and where it goes and when it's used. She also touched upon the funding comparison, which was really interesting to me because we community colleges are the institution with the most students with a total of 2.3 million, and we only approximately received 90,000 compared to the California State Student Association, or the CSSA, that represents 460,000, and they receive approximately 1.4 million compared to the 90,000 that we only received. So I thought that was really interesting. We also had Nick Kesheris, who conducted the most workshops out of all the speakers, and he primarily focused on how to be an effective student trustee. In fact, he gave us a book to read at night before we go to sleep, and it states how to be an effective student trustee. He kind of like shrunk everything down to a little slim booklet, and he said that if we ever want to go to sleep, we can read that. We also had our own Vice President Gable right there, and she gave us a little presentation of how like the whole fiscal year works, and it was a lot of numbers, and but it was awesome having some representation, more representation of Long Beach City College right there. So that was awesome. So thank you so much, Vice President Gable. And finally, we had Dr. Keith Curry, who's the president for Compton College, and he honestly was probably the speaker that touched upon where most student trustees could relate, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who kind of are with our students, and we see the struggle that we kind of go through, whether it's through units or issues that we're constantly overcoming. So he talked about losing accreditation and the struggle that Compton went through, and now earning their accreditation back. He also touched upon a little bit about how low enrollment throughout the state, and he also touched upon real issues about how life happens to students and how many times those issues are reasons why students cannot succeed. Whether that is not being able to put food on the table for their families or loved ones, or taking care of a family member. These issues cannot be measured and are not accounted for in certain ways. So as he stated, we can talk about student success, we can talk about the outcomes we want. However, if a student cannot put table on their food for their child, they have the same math test that same day, honestly, at the end of the day, they're really struggling about, how am I going to put food on the table? I don't got a math. If I have a math test that night, I'm not even thinking of that. Or if a parent needs the money to buy a textbook, needs some money to buy food or a textbook, that's you're going to go for the food no matter what. So he talked about those issues and how can we measure that? So I thought that was really, he kind of like laid it out for us. Student success, student outcome, we want all these things, but in reality, how do we go out there and ask so many students, hey, how many people do you know that are community college students that are homeless? How many people do you know that are struggling to meet ends meet? That's just something that really kind of moved a lot of the student trustees, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who connect with all the other students. We also talked about supporting and regarding legislation, and the successes we've had. Just to name a few: AB 1995, SB 164, and AB 214, which allowed CalFresh and SNAP more accessible to low-income students. As for the bills that we're looking out for, are AB 705 by Irwin, Assemblymember Irwin, which was matriculation and assessment, and I believe Miles mentioned that earlier this year, my first ever board meeting. In that one, would it be to include transcripts, use transcript data more instead of just using the assessment. We also talked about AB 705 by Assemblymember Limon, SB 769 by Assemblymember Hill, which is the bilateral degree pilot. So to expand bachelor's degrees to community colleges, that's kind of how I understood it. And finally, SB 68, which is led by State Senator Ricardo Lara, our state senator, which is public post-secondary education exemption for non-resident tuition. So that's pretty much all we kind of covered for that weekend. So after that, I came back, and that same Monday, I got invited to the Homeless Committee, or the Homeless Student Housing Task Force, and Michelle Paycheck, she's part of the culinary department, and she invited me to that. So we went over at the Palace on Anaheim Street, and we got to take a tour of what the wonderful work they've done. So I got to see organizations like Link Housing, United Friends of the Children, and the Long Beach Housing Authority. So that unit called the Palace houses 14 people, and it kind of looks like almost like a hotel in a way, because they had like a little like rooftop place where you can sit down, and it just seems really cool, because like I don't have that in my house, but that seems pretty cool. So they have obviously the essentials, like a laundry room, a workspace, and they even had an elevator, which was awesome. But yeah, and then as for the final meeting, we met with Alejandro Lomelí, my predecessor, and he kind of explained how SSCCC is going to work this year, which is going to be in Sacramento from November 17th through the 19th. And the people who met were me, our advisor, Taylor, and Javier. And as for that pretty much concludes my report as a student trustee. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to starting school next week. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Members of the board, comments this time. Last meeting, as I mentioned, we'll rotate. I started with Trustee Otto, but this time we'll start with Trustee Malulu.
Thank you, President Kellogg. This has been a great summer, and I'm excited about the new school year starting next week. On July 28th, we had our annual board retreat. It was very productive, and we were able to set up our board goals that we voted on today, and also discuss other issues relevant to board governance and how we could better serve you. So I thought it was time well spent. That same, the following week, the journalism department here at LBCC, which I'm a little bit partial to, hosted 98 students, high school students from throughout the state of California. We had students from up north, San Diego, out in the desert, who came out. Some had their parents with them for journalism camp, and it was awesome. We had guest speakers. Our chancellor, Eloy Ortiz Oakley, was one of our speakers. We had different speakers come out throughout the week, Pulitzer Prize-winning writers in the area, and it was a really great week for these high school students, and I had an opportunity to read some of their evaluations and reviews, and they just love LBCC, and they are thrilled with our welcoming them on campus. We had the main sessions at the Nordic Lounge, and they loved the opportunity to be on a community college campus and to interact with some of our students and our faculty. And as a result of that, I was able to meet with the journalism advisor at Cabrillo High School, which is also in my district, and we are initiating a partnership with our Viking staff and the high school staff there to collaborate and work together and cover events that are happening in my district, not just at Cabrillo High School, but in the community. So I'm really excited about that, and I look forward to sharing things with you as that just manifests itself into whatever the plan is. I was here for the August 2nd town hall, and I have to commend Superintendent President Romali for an incredible event. The first 3 minutes, people were shy and hesitant, and it was awkward. And after that, hands were shooting up in the air, and people had ideas and were sharing concerns and were bringing forth issues to the board, to our superintendent president, that they may have talked about in their own department or in their own office, but rarely had an opportunity to discuss them openly at a forum like that. So I was very impressed. And what impresses me the most is that out of those discussions, I believe I've seen action already. I believe that we're already working toward addressing some of those issues on campus. I've gotten very positive feedback that they weren't just talking, that they actually were able to get the point across that things need to happen. And what pleases me the most out of all of that is the people coming out of the woodwork to join forces with the administration, with the faculty senate, with the board, people who normally would just drive in, park their car, go teach, go to their office, do their work, and then go home. And all of a sudden, we're seeing more people really getting involved, becoming involved, and taking a sincere vested interest in what's happening on campus. And I think that that has a lot to do with your personality and your attitude to be able to bring people out. So I commend you for that, and I look forward to the other town halls. And I bet you that, those initial 7 minutes are not even going to happen. People are going to come prepared. I would like to, and I don't know, President Kellogg, if I should wait for future reports, but I would like to mention in my trustee report that I still want to see something happen with the floats. I'm not going to give up. I'm very persistent. We need to have a parade float. It's just, I'm not going to give up until we get it. We are the largest academic institution here in the area in terms of our access to the community and our open enrollment, and I'm not going to do this thing with the truck anymore. I mean, it's just lame. We are LBCC. We have thousands and thousands of students in the community, and we need to show out and have a just souped up Viking float or something. So I'm going to stay on top of you until we get it. And also, I'd just like to know what's happening with the 90th anniversary, if we can get a report on that. So I kind of jumped the gun. That's 9 point something, but that's it. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. The most important thing. So September 7th, we're having a Discover LBCC event, also in my district. I'm very loyal to my district, so it's like my district.
And it's going really well. I'm out of flyers. I need more flyers. I've gone to a lot of businesses and a lot of homes in my community, spoken to a lot of my constituents and people who are interested in getting on campus, perhaps not the most traditional way, because they can't, the academic route. But if we can get them on with some hands-on learning, introduce them to the college and bring them on board, mission accomplished. And hopefully we can do something similar in other parts of the district as well. Let this be kind of a sample, kind of a guinea pig project, and then we can make it bigger and broader. Thank you.
More? No?
Sorry.
Chair recognizes the Trustee Vice President Zia, followed by Trustee Baxter.
Thank you, President Kellogg. I don't know how I can top that, Trustee Malauulu. You're so exciting. Your life is so exciting. So I too want to echo Trustee Malauulu's remarks about our Superintendent President, Dr. Romali. I have to tell you, I am so thrilled to see just third-party validation from the community and our internal community, people who randomly come up to me and say, wow, you guys made a great selection. And it just makes me feel so good that you're that approachable. You're 180 degrees different, and that's what we love. You're welcoming. Everybody has a seat at your table, so we honor you. I am so thrilled that you're here. My number one goal, and I would say that that's a shared sentiment, is to make sure you continue to be successful, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure our institution is not only stellar, but the most coveted in the region. Just one minor point. I did have a comment on item 5.8 before the board meeting, just as a matter of Brown Act. I believe I wanted to ask to see if there's been printouts for the public that was put out there from my Q&A, and because that question was posed today and an answer was provided. So if it hasn't, I would recommend, I would like to have printouts put out there for the public. And then lastly, I just wanted to express my heartfelt thank you to Executive Vice President Luann Bynum for all your work. Since I joined the board, you have been extremely professional, gentle, kind, and we may at times I may have disagreements with items that pertain to your area, your groups, but you've been so just tremendous and graceful, and I just want you to know that I really appreciate it. And I know I'm not going to see you here on the dais after this meeting, but I hope I know I'm going to be seeing you at the Board of Harbor Commissioners, so I will get my Luann Bynum dose there when I can attend. But I just want to really thank you for your service. You have done such a great service for our students. A lot of it without asking for it's all of it. You don't do it to get thank yous. I know that. I've seen that. The last month has been a testament to your work. That's just one example. And I can go on, but I just wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude to you and your team and your leadership. And on that note, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Baxter, followed by Trustee Otto.
Okay, thank you. First of all, my email was hacked, and I never knew I had so many friends who wanted to help me while I was in the Philippines with my sick, cancer-stricken sister. I'm joking, I was not in the Philippines. But what amazed me is how many people responded when this email went out to people, and I've had phone calls and emails, and I was actually in Scotland and Iceland, and I texted everybody that I'm sure I'm going to have a huge phone bill. that contacted me because I was just so impressed by that. But I am fine, my family's fine, all that kind of stuff. But it goes to show you how many people you know, and all the people. My husband didn't even know, and people were calling him and telling him. So anyway, that's number one. Number two, I want to salute John Craig, who is in the Computer and Office Studies department. I got his message today through LinkedIn that he is teaching a class on the cloud. And I thought, what a brilliant idea to send out through LinkedIn, Jorge, about classes. And I thought, if we could get everybody on campus to just spread the word, and it was just one sentence, and it basically was, maybe you have friends who are interested in the cloud. I have to tell you, I have no idea anything about the cloud, and I'm not on the cloud, but I thought that was really, really smart, and I wanted to congratulate him and salute him. I also want to salute President Romali about the town hall. I thought it was fantastic. The only thing I would say is we need more community input. There were 2 people from the community, and that's because I sent out the information to retirees. But, and John, you're still here. If there were a way, I think it would be helpful if we got community people to come in and also make suggestions, because we all know when we run for re-election, going door to door, we hear from people vociferously what's going on. But I think if we could make sure that the community understood that they're invited, I think they're invited, right? And get their input, that would be great.
We'd be delighted to do that. Thank you.
Okay, great. And then I also want to salute the fine arts area of the college, because the dance department is raising money right now to go perform in Massachusetts at a famous dance extravaganza called Jacob's Pillow. And they've been going out and trying to raise money, and I think that's fantastic, and I wish them the best. That's Stephanie Powell. And then also the film department, Eli Dodrill, who is raising money to produce a film. I think Eli has raised all the money he needs to do his film. So I just salute faculty who go out of their way to try to make a better program for our students. Then also I wanted to call attention to the fact that on Saturday, the Long Beach Historical Society is having a presentation by Dr. Craig Hendricks, who is an emeritus history professor from 1 to 3, about the effect of World War II on Long Beach. And he and Julian Delgadio, dear Julian, have produced a book on the effect of World War II in Long Beach, and it will be on sale on Monday. So I just think, again, showing that our faculty is out there doing service to the community. I want to congratulate David Morris, who just received a promotion, and wish him very well. We're going to miss him, but I'm happy for him. I'm also sad that Morgan Bernard has given his resignation, and so he, outstanding art professor. And Luann, congratulations, and thank you for all you've done, and I know you will continue to do for our college and our community. And then finally, I agree with Trustee Malauulu. I would like a report, and it doesn't have to be a big report, on what is the agenda for the 90th anniversary, which technically starts the first day of school next week. And I know you're not doing anything, so I'm on the first day. But I'd just like to know what is the schedule of events. We don't have to have a whole big deal, but just something. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Otto.
So I also think that this has been a very good summer for Long Beach City College, that Superintendent President Romali came in May, and I've spent a lot of time introducing her to people in the community, and otherwise trying to be helpful in any ways that I can. I too believe that until you have a superintendent president, your only job as a trustee is to get one. And once you get one, your only job is to make your superintendent president successful in whatever ways you can. And I think that's what the board should and is doing. I want to compliment her on the public forums that she's had. I think I've been to most of them, and there is a lot of enthusiasm for what's going on here at Long Beach City College right now. I'm looking forward to College Day. It's always a tremendous, uplifting, exciting time. I expect it to be more so this year because of the fact that we have a new superintendent president. And I am so mindful that we have adopted board goals and have put as our focus our strategic plan. And that's what we should be doing. We're all about not just access, but success here at Long Beach City College. And we've now thrown down the gauntlet, and we're going to show people that we can help our students achieve their goals, and that will be great. I had lunch last week with our student trustee. I know he forgot about that, but I usually only have that effect on women, not students. But they forget me. But it was good to get to know him, and I think our paths will cross many times. So the only thing that I want to say about something that I think is important for this college and that we'd like to do, and I've talked to Superintendent President Romali about this. I've talked to Vice President Bynum about this. I've talked to Vice President Delgadio about this. I've talked to a couple of students about this, but I'm very worried about what's going on campuses across the United States. And this board and the college has made statements about what our values are and what it is that we're doing. But I'm worried about whether we have our arms around what our obligations are to free speech, what our obligations are to our community to not only keep our faculty and our students safe, but to understand what have become very complicated issues in this at this time in our lives. And so I'm reaching out now to others to see if we can't put together a forum or maybe even a couple of forums on the ideas of free speech, community, and people coming together at Long Beach City College to affirm one another in these very difficult times when you just don't know what the facts are and what's happening. I've seen that what used to be, to me, very simple questions have become very complex. There was an editorial in the New York Times the other day that the American Civil Liberties Union should rethink what they think about free speech because they seem to be getting bogged down. And so I'm just letting you know that I'm working that direction. I want to work with the board about that. I've already got a file that's pretty full about how to do this, but I will continue this conversation and hopefully come back to not just the board, but to the community and see if there isn't something we can do. And with that, I will end.
All right, thank you. In closing, I would just like to, obviously, we have College Day, as mentioned, coming up this Friday. Next week, as was mentioned also, classes begin. It's always an exciting time. To the comments by Trustee Otto, I know I signed with Superintendent President a statement regarding colleges and how we view ourselves in society and doing what we can to help people through difficult times and be sort of that stable force. And so it just went out, I believe, today as well. So I was very pleased to sign that as well. But I did want to, it was mentioned, Vice President Gable, thank you for your staff for doing the work at the Student Trustee Conference was mentioned. And then finally, though, for my comments, is that I'd like to also thank Vice President Bynum for her years of service. I actually think I'm one of the few people who know that you retired at one time from this college. You went to Texas, and I don't know, I can't remember how long you stayed in Texas, long enough to get a gun permit, and then you were back with or without the gun. But you have done a remarkable job. The fact that many do not understand the missions of community colleges in California is complex at times. It's simply not transfer and career technology education. It is also workforce development, economic development. Those are areas that a lot of community colleges do not address to the level that we do here at Long Beach City College, and we have really been at the forefront of it, even to the point of LA County has depended on us in a lot of those areas as well. And that is attributed directly to your leadership and your staff's hard work. They've done a phenomenal job. You've made this college a tremendous voice in those areas among the California community college system. We're very proud of that, but that just doesn't happen because of luck. It happens because of good quality leadership, and you provided that with, and your staff has done an exceptional job. So our sincere thanks to you from a professional side. From a personal side, you've been a good friend, and I'll miss not looking over there and seeing you and having some good laughs now and then. But I also know you're not disappearing. You're still very active in the city of Long Beach. We will see you at other events. The only difference is you won't view us as, quote, bosses, so maybe you'll be a little more blunt with us. And but I do appreciate your friendship and what you've meant to this college over the years, and our sincere thanks and gratitude to you for your time served. And we will miss you, but again, you're not going anywhere. And if no one's going to claim, I will. I gave you those flowers, so unless somebody wants to rebut that. So thank you very much, and best of luck to you in all the things. As starting, you're the president of the Harbor Commission, so you are not going to be just sitting there and being inactive. So thank you, Luann, for everything over the years from a personal and public standpoint. Yes. Trustee Malulu?
Second time
There's more?
speaker, yes. I apologize that I thought we would all have an opportunity to say something to you together later, Vice President Bynum, but I would also like to share my sentiment, congratulating you on your retirement, first of all, thanking you for your many, many years of service to the college and the community, and to also personally acknowledge the assistance that you have provided to me, just coming on the board, meeting with me last year, acclimating me to what your department does. You have always been very patient with me. You've always been very responsive. I appreciate that. I agree with what's been said. You've always been very professional, and I'm very happy with your position at the Harbor Board of Commissions, congratulating you on becoming president. And I look forward to working with you in that realm. So you and I get to have another professional relationship outside of this one. So I'm very happy about that. And I'd also like to encourage you to come back and visit. And, you know, I know you're going to miss these long Tuesday night meetings. So you have your own meetings to go to on Mondays. But thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck. And I appreciate everything that you did to help me. Thank you.
Thank you. We have on item 8.5, there's no trustee committee reports to present at this time. Future reports, I've noted and we don't really need a report, but we are going to schedule and invite the representative from the foundation to come and give us a report update on what's taking place with the 90th anniversary of this college and the activities they're starting to work on. So we are going to.
And I think also John Pope. Right, John?
Which either or. But it's going to be the update on because the liaison, I know Miles and everyone else, but we do want to keep working with them on this 90th anniversary. So that's on not necessarily a future report, but we know we're going to have a presentation on it. As far as the float, I can't really tell you if we're going to have a report on a future float, but.
So I had,
There's more?
Yes, I'd spoken to Camille Bolton several times, and I know that she met with the ASB cabinet several times, and we were going to put it out there as a contest. John and I had talked about it, that we would do a campus-wide contest last spring, but we decided to not do it in the spring because it was too close to the end of the school year, and we didn't want people to make suggestions who weren't going to be here. So maybe right now we can, at the beginning of the school year, make an announcement, get the Viking on board, advertise it, and have students come up with a design idea. We'll, figure out what we can do with a budget, and then we can move from there. We have until, I think, Christmas is the first one?
No, Veterans Parade
Veterans
is
Day,
coming up
November.
first, North Long Beach.
So we can always buy one of those blow-up floats, but I'd like to not do that. I'd like to utilize our resources here on campus and have our career technical and our metal fabricating class, design something. So think big. So that hopefully we can make something happen in the next couple of weeks.
I think I read that the car that was used in Animal House is available.
To that point, if anyone wants to YouTube it, because they know that I'm very big on presentation with film clips, take that one, and I keep having this horrible vision of the float they built in the movie Animal House, a classic way back when, and went to University of Oregon, so that's where they filmed it. And I keep envisioning that being our float. And if you go and YouTube it and you see it, you will get an absolute chuckle out of it, because I don't know who's going to be playing the John Belushi part in that, but it's not going to be me. But anyway, we will have a float. Just don't quite know what it is yet. So those are the, as far as future reports, I will tell you the 9.2, the scheduled reports we do have is on the accreditation midterm, the web launch, the student success scorecard, which we're going to try to put in there, the purchasing analytics, and then the strategic plan update and the enrollment management. Those are scheduled reports we have. We're going to schedule throughout the next few months. So just so you're aware of that as well. So at this time, we'll then move forward to the reports from the bargaining units, beginning with AFT, then CHI, and then following with the LBCFA bargaining. If any of them wish to come up and speak, now is your time. And as you're walking, and welcome. This is your first one, isn't it? All right, well then I'm going to let you know there is somewhere going to be appearing behind me, I think, this massive, intimidating 5-minute countdown. I think is that coming up again? Well, it's just, you have 5 minutes.
Okay.
But when that thing expires, it's not something, the microphone will not go off, but you have 5 minutes. So please, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, good evening, President Superintendent Romali, Board President Kellogg, and Board of Trustees. I'm Claudia Nguyen. I'm the CHI President. We held CHI elections in July. Our e-board is comprised of myself, Karen Roberts as Vice President, Cindy Fry as Membership Chair, Michelle Pechek as our Secretary, Gabriella Jones and Curtis Williams are our Member at Large. We had our part-time faculty orientation on August 17th. Over 100 part-time faculty attended this orientation, and I'd like to thank President Romali for speaking to the part-time faculty, and also for the classroom supplies that they received that evening. In addition, CHI thanks you for your pledge of office supplies and a resource room coming up this semester. The part-time faculty is really looking forward to that and is excited, especially the faculty that works in the evening. That's going to be very helpful for them. I'd also like to acknowledge Gene Duran's for his presentation at the orientation and the multiple departments that presented that evening. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better, and we'll be reaching out to you this fall. You're welcome to join us at our constituent meeting on College Day in room T1300 from 12 to 12:40. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Good job. We'll then move forward to anyone else I do not see from the other bargaining units at this time. If not, we'll move on to the public comment on non-agenda item. We have one speaker, correct, Madam Secretary? It is on the Long Beach Community Job Fair. It's Margaret Antonio Palomares. Such a pretty name,
Hi,
and I hope I
Margaret.
didn't ruin it. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Margaret Antonio Palomares. Honorable trustees, our Superintendent President Romali, and other board members. It's my pleasure to announce our second annual Long Beach Community Job Fair. It will be held on Tuesday, September 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And as Superintendent Romali mentioned, that it'll be held at the Long Beach Veterans Stadium. Last year, we kicked off our first event, and with the support of last year's supervisor, the County of Los Angeles, Department of Public Social Service, and key integral parts of departments like CalWorks, the Career Pathways, our facilities maintenance operation, and John Pope, who helped advertise it. Over 650 attendees came last year, and we had about 65 registered employers that came out. So with the 650, these were community members and students. So this year, we want to make sure that it's a great send-off, and with all of this particular event, it does support our strategic plan and our mission statement and our values. So within this year's coordination, we're also collaborating with Pacific Gateway with this event. And we'd like to also encourage, because with that, we were able to get the port and airport of Long Beach. Our district is a key economic driver for this community and regional event. So without further ado, I also want to introduce you to somebody from our city of Long Beach, Lucius Martin, who wants to say a little bit. Still want to say something? Yeah.
Lucius is a alum.
Do I have the rest of the time? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Mr. Kellogg, afterward, I want to say something.
It's nice to see you, Dr. Baxter. So 15 years ago, I actually received my associate's degree from this world-class college, eventually transferred to UCLA. And it is truly humbling to stand here in front of the superintendent president, the rest of the board of trustees, representing now the City of Long Beach Economic and Property Development Department, and our workforce development arm, which is known in the community as Pacific Gateway Workforce Innovation Network, expressing not just my own, but also the city's gratitude to the college district, to the trustees, to Career Pathways, Economic Development, Workforce Development, CalWorks, and all the teams there with coordinating what I can safely say will undoubtedly be the largest publicly open job fair to happen in Long Beach in many years.
Hold on, it'll come back on. We haven't figured this one out yet. Go ahead.
The LBC Job Fair will have employers representing the fastest growing regional industry clusters, including healthcare, logistics and transportation, construction, and retail and hospitality. We have nationally recognized retailers, Best Buy, Home Depot, the largest hotels in Long Beach, the Renaissance, the Marriott. We have companies that are actually headquartered, they're nationally recognized companies that are headquartered locally here in the Long Beach area, such as Scan Healthcare, 24-Hour Healthcare, and Traffic Management Incorporated. All of them are over the moon about the opportunity to be here, have access to the students, the community members, the job seekers coming from the local neighborhoods. As Margaret had mentioned, over 60 employers are lined up and confirmed to participate, and all of this could not be possible without the support of the trustees, without the incredible collaborative efforts taking place behind the scenes with all the planning agencies. So from the city, from Pacific Gateway, we just wanted to thank you each for your commitment to the district, to our city, and to continuing to support the efforts to connect the student body and those job seekers from our neighborhood to real employment opportunities in the local and regional economy. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Baxter?
Yes, Margaret, I just wanted to mention that there was money in the foundation for career job fairs. And so when Ruth Hebert used to do them, so what they used to use the money for was to buy lunch for the companies, because we should do something for them. So you might want to look into that, okay?
Trustee Malauulu?
Margaret, I just want to thank you and encourage you for the work that you're doing. I was at the first job fair last year, and I remember how hard you worked and how proud you were. And I'm so happy to see that you're doing it again this year. Just keep up the good work. I'm very proud of you. Thank you.
Last year was very impressive. It was wonderful to see, and it's critical for the community and for this college and the students. So we obviously, we also benefit from the efforts you do. So thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you on the job fair. All right, there's no other public comments at this time or other people to speak. There is no need for a second closed session. So at this time, we will adjourn the meeting to September 12th. Without objection from the members of the board, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Good night.